Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
Carly messed at Jack's, Ava caught Valentine at Windmere, and Alexis backed out of exposing Willow at the trial. Carly scrambles to hide in Jack's room when she hears Britt and Jack talking outside. They head in and she rushes to get into a robe. Britt says she can't sneak anything to him. Jack reminds her options are limited. She knows, but Sidwell wants her to finish her work on Ladle Island. Carly is shocked by all she's hail and groans. Jack hears commodity and grabs his gun. He runs into the restroom with the gun, frightening her. She claims she was only there to give him a sexy surprise. Jack stumbles over telling her he's realized how deeply he's fallen for her. She's the smartest and sexiest woman he's ever known. He's texted back to work. On Ladle Island, Valentine looks over the fireplace. Ava arrives and says she got relief of the detector to the hallway. Does Jens know he's harboring a fugitive? She wonders if he's been there since he escaped. He tries making small talk and sends his love to Nina. He admires all the redecorating and he wishes he could stick around to ride. Valentine tells her that Sidwell doesn't want the WSB to know he's cashing him. When she turns to call for Pascal, he disappears. Anna struggles with Pascal in a shot to escape but fails. A man shows up and they conk her out. Sidwell joins them and the abettor says Anna still has no idea where she's or who's holding her. Sidwell sends Pascal down, also justifies how he has been handling effects. The man reminds Sidwell they need to concentrate on completing Faison's work. They also need an endless result for Anna, one which doesn't include keeping her there. Sidwell doesn't suppose they can calculate on Britt, but the man insists they need her knowledge. They consider what to do with Anna, and if she's further trouble than she's worth. Pascal goes upstairs and tells Ava that Sidwell will be indisposed for some time and she needs to go. She asks him to tell his master that she knows about his guest, and she doesn't mean Lucas. Pascal goes back downward and informs his master that Ava needs to speak to him. The man tells Pascal Anna won't be there for much longer and orders him to stick to the protocol. Anna comes to and yells, "What do you want?" She collapses when she tries to stand. When she gets up, blood starts running from her nose. "Oh God, no," she gasps. Sidwell rushes up to see Ava and she explains she ran into his guest. "Pardon me?" he asks. He's surprised when she asks him if it's a good idea to help Valentine. He makes it clear that Valentine isn't his guest. Sidwell asks her not to mention this to anyone. She says he can count on her. The man goes to Jack's room. He's calm, the directors of the WSB. He announces they've lost Anna. Valentine returns to the garret and fills Carly in on Ava catching him. He says that the authorities formally know he's around and Sidwell will no way go to the police. Whatever Jack is hiding is on Ladle Island. Jason stops by GH looking for Britt. He runs into Liz, who suspects he's worried with her for having compassion for Willow. He's not angry. They wonder how the trial closed and hope the jury comes back soon. They still don't know who shot Drew, but Jason is sure he brought it on himself. They wonder why Willow went back to him and what that means for her kitties. Jason addresses about how hard all of this has been on Danny. Drew refuses to allow him see Scout. Liz hopes Willow's influence can soften the Solon. As soon as she gets back to work, Brad gets in Jason's face and orders him to stay down from Britt. He's formerly broken her heart doubly. Jason doesn't want to hurt her. Brad says he hurts her every time he rescues her and makes her believe she can count on him. Britt interrupts. Jason asks her for a nanosecond, but Brad insists she's not interested. Nonetheless, Britt agrees to step away with Jason and smiles when he awkwardly asks her out. She says she wouldn't jump into bed with him. He liked seeing her on New Year's and would like to see her again. When she asks where they will go, he says she'll have to trust him. Meanwhile, Brad and Liz talk about what a disaster Britt getting together with Jason would be. The nanny says they shouldn't get involved. Alexis arrives in her office, where Sonny is staying for her. She assumes he's there because she intertwined Michael in a crime he didn't commit. They bicker about why she threw dubitation on his son. She's sorry, that's not giving him any comfort. The council insists she did this for Scout. She worries that Drew will underpinning Scout against the rest of her family. Sunny points out someone is going to have to take the fall for Drew's firing. Alexis insists she had a duty to exculpate her client. He assures her she hasn't lost his fellowship. That's further than she hoped for. They agree that Scout deserves to be raised by someone better than Drew. Returning to the court case, he repeats she was only doing her job. He doesn't suppose Willow is able of shooting Drew. Alexis asks what happens if she did it. Sunny says good people can be pushed to do bad things. Sunny Corinthus Mans answers, while Jack Brennan makes an angry outburst. Plus, at the sanitarium, Jason Morgan asks Britt Westbourne out. Sunny demands answers. Sunny demands answers from Alexis Davis, obviously upset that Michael Corinthus will be arrested for Drew cane shitting. Sunny is angry as he tells Alexis notoriety's got to take the fall to make this go down. Since she made such a satisfying argument that Willow Kane couldn't have shot Drew, there's a reason to worry. Alexis only intended to prove reasonable mistrustfulness that Willow committed the crime, and she succeeded in doing that. Now the problem is to keep the DA from going after Michael, because the crime still has to be answered. Jens provides answers. In the meantime, Jens Sidwell appears to be talking to his boss and provides answers, or, maybe, makes defenses. Jens seems cool, calm and collected as he explains to the other man, who looks veritably angry at him. Jens tells him that Drew's getting too close and he to extemporize. Jens had talked preliminarily to Jordan Ashford and mentioned that maybe Drew was who he demanded in Washington, D.C., mentioning Drew's temper hissy. At the trial. It's also possible the riddle man is someone Sidwell wants to put in Drew's place. Valentine has a close call. In the meantime, at Windmere, Ava Jerome just discovered Valentine Cassidy looking for the detector to open the cupboards from the living room. She had explained that she had it removed when she got the property. Presumably, she's still talking to Valentine as she says, "Boy, he's full of surprises, isn't he?" Valentine and Ava are on the stylish of terms, although formerly upon a time they were in-laws when she was married to Nicholas Cassadine. Might someone have conceivably walked in, Valentine snappily hiding, thus Valentine having his close call, Jack's angry outburst. At the Metro Court, Jack and Britt were arguing and went in his suite, as Carly Spencer was poking for Valentine. She snappily ducked into the restroom, took off her clothes and put on a bathrobe. Is that Carly Jack's angry at? Or has someone additional shown up who isn't supposed to be there? He's mealy as he shouts, "What the hell are you doing in my room?" Obviously, he's not falling for a romantic surprise, although that's what she was trying to disguise it as, Carly's disaster. Still in Jack's room, and with her clothes back on, Carly exclaims, "This is a disaster." While hiding in the restroom, still, she does hear some useful intel. She formerly heard Jack and Britt's discussion. Might she hear some further, and that's the disaster she's talking about? Or is getting caught in Jack's room and his response to it the disaster? They're still dating, although he's been apprehensive of some distance, and he asked about it as far as being in his room. She owns half the hotel. Jason asks Britt out. Meanwhile, at General Hospital, Jason asks Britt if she wants to go out with him tonight. They will be intruded by Brad Cooper, who will tell Jason to stay down from Britt with her witnessing it. But Brad's well-meaning overprotectiveness won't get him veritably far. Jason will indeed take Britt out to have some fun. According to the Daily Promo, they'll go dismissal throwing. Still, she may put his print up as the point. If Brad interferes in her love life much more, Port Charles is holding its breath, caught between whispered confessions and explosive confrontations, as secrets multiply and loyalties fracture. What began as quiet suspicion has now turned into a full-scale crisis involving espionage, courtroom ethics, dangerous alliances, and emotional betrayals that threaten to destroy families from the inside out. In one corner of town, Carly Spencer risks everything by sneaking into Jack Brennan's private space, overhearing information she was never meant to hear. Across town, Valentine Cassidy nearly finds himself exposed at Windmere, caught prowling through tunnels that should have stayed buried forever. Meanwhile, at the courthouse, Alexis Davis stands at the edge of a moral cliff, knowing the truth about Willow Kane, but choosing, at least for now, not to burn everything down. This is not a story about one secret. This is a story about many lies colliding at once. Carly Spencer's dangerous game at the Metro Court. Carly Spencer has never been one to resist temptation, especially when answers are just within reach. Her instincts tell her something is deeply wrong with Jack Brennan, and those instincts refuse to stay quiet. While Jack is away, Carly slips into his room, her heart pounding as she searches for anything that might explain his increasingly secretive behavior. She barely has time to process what she's doing before she hears voices outside the door. Jack. And Britt Westbourne. Panic hits instantly. Carly scrambles, ducking into the bathroom just as the door opens. She sheds her clothes and throws on a robe in record time, praying she won't be discovered. Outside, Jack and Britt argue, voices low but intense. Britt makes it clear she's trapped. She can't secretly pass information to Jack anymore, not without risking everything. But Jack reminds her coldly that her options are running out. Sidwell is pressuring her. The work on Spoon Island must be finished. Carly listens in shock, barely breathing as the implications crash down on her. Spoon Island. Sidwell. Britt being forced into something she clearly doesn't want. Her reaction isn't subtle. A groan slips out. That single sound changes everything. Jack Brennan's gun and Carly's quick thinking. Jack freezes. He heard something. Without hesitation, he grabs his gun and storms toward the bathroom. Carly barely has time to prepare herself before the door swings open, and suddenly she's staring down the barrel of a weapon. Fear flashes across her face, but Carly does what Carly always does, she improvises. She claims she was there to surprise him. A sexy, spontaneous gesture. Nothing more. Jack falters. His anger dissolves into something softer, more dangerous. He stumbles over his words, admitting that he's realized just how deeply he's fallen for her. He tells her she's brilliant, intoxicating, unlike any woman he's ever known. Carly plays along, but inside, her mind is racing. She's just heard far too much. Jack's phone buzzes. Work calls him away, leaving Carly alone with her thoughts, and the realization that she may be in deeper trouble than she imagined. Windermere, Ava Jerome's discovery and Valentine's vanishing act. At Windermere, danger lurks behind every ornate wall. Valentine Cassadine, still a fugitive, carefully examines the fireplace, searching for the hidden trigger that opens the old tunnels beneath the estate. He doesn't find it. Because Ava Jerome already removed it. When Ava appears, her presence is calm, but her words are sharp. She tells Valentine she disabled the passageway when she took over the property. Then she asks the question that cuts straight to the bone, does Jen Sidwell know Valentine is being sheltered here? Valentine tries to deflect. Small talk. Compliments about Ava's redecorating. A polite message of love passed along to Nina Reeves. Ava isn't fooled. She wonders aloud how long Valentine has been hiding there. She reminds him that Sidwell doesn't want the WSB discovering this arrangement. And just as she turns away to summon Pascal, Valentine disappears. Gone without a trace. Another near miss. Another reminder that no one at Windermere is ever truly safe. Anna Devane's failed escape and a grim warning. Elsewhere, Anna Devane makes a desperate attempt to escape captivity. She fights Pascal with everything she has, but it's not enough. Another man appears, and together they overpower her, knocking her unconscious. When she wakes, Sidwell is there. His accomplice reports that Anna still doesn't know where she is, or who is holding her. Sidwell dismisses Pascal and attempts to justify his methods, but the other man isn't interested in excuses. Their focus must remain on Caesar Faison's unfinished work. Anna, they agree, cannot remain a liability. Keeping her alive and imprisoned forever is not a sustainable solution. Sidwell admits he doesn't trust Britt, but the man insists they need her expertise. Without her, everything could fall apart. They begin discussing whether Anna is worth the trouble. Moments later, Anna regains consciousness and tries to stand, only to collapse again. Blood begins to stream from her nose. Her terror is raw. "Oh God, no," she whispers. Ava Jerome presses Sidwell, and gets an answer. Pascal later informs Ava that Sidwell will be unavailable and asks her to leave. Ava doesn't budge. She tells Pascal to inform his boss that she knows about his secret guest, and she doesn't mean Lucas. That gets Sidwell's attention. When he confronts Ava, she calmly explains she ran into Valentine. Sidwell is visibly rattled but insists Valentine is not his guest. He asks Ava to keep quiet. She agrees, at least for now. Trust in Port Charles is always temporary. Valentine's warning to Carly. Valentine eventually returns to the attic and fills Carly in on his close call with Ava. He tells her the authorities already suspect he's nearby, but Sidwell will never involve the police. Whatever Jack Brennan is hiding, Valentine insists, it's on Spoon Island. That revelation lingers. Jason Morgan, Britt Westbourne, and a risky new beginning. At General Hospital, Jason Morgan goes looking for Britt and instead finds Elizabeth Baldwin. She worries Jason might be upset with her for showing compassion toward Willow Kane, but he assures her he's not angry. They talk about the trial and the uncertainty hanging over everyone. Jason admits he believes Drew Kane brought his own fate upon himself. The conversation turns to Danny Morgan. Jason speaks quietly about how deeply all of this has affected his son, and how Drew continues to refuse to allow Danny to see Scout. Elizabeth hopes Willow might influence Drew to soften. Jason doesn't sound convinced. Then Brad Cooper storms in, furious. He orders Jason to stay away from Britt, accusing him of breaking her heart over and over again. Britt interrupts, and despite Brad's objections, agrees to speak with Jason privately. Jason awkwardly asks her out. Britt smiles, but sets boundaries. She won't rush into anything. She won't pretend. But she admits she liked seeing him on New Year's and would like to see him again. When she asks where they're going, Jason simply says she'll have to trust him. Nearby, Brad and Elizabeth agree, this could be a disaster. Alexis Davis and Sonny Corinthos, a moral reckoning. Alexis returns to her office to find Sonny Corinthos waiting. She assumes he's furious over her implication that Michael Corinthos might be involved in Drew's shooting. They argue. Alexis apologizes, but insists she acted for Scout's sake. She fears Drew will poison Scout against her family if he remains unchecked. Sonny reminds her that someone will have to pay for the shooting. Alexis says her duty was to create reasonable doubt, and she did. Sonny surprises her by assuring her she hasn't lost his friendship. They agree on one thing, Scout deserves better than Drew. But when Alexis wonders aloud what happens if Willow really did pull the trigger, Sonny responds with chilling honesty. Good people, he says, can be pushed to do terrible things. The fallout, angry demands and dangerous silences. Sonny later demands answers, furious that the case now lacks a clear culprit. Jack Brennan, elsewhere, makes an angry outburst of his own, his temper threatening to expose more than he intends. Sidwell, calm on the surface, explains to his superior that Drew was getting too close, and adjustments had to be made. At Windmere, Ava and Valentine's near collision leaves lingering tension. At the Metro Court, Carly realizes just how badly she may have miscalculated. At the hospital, Jason and Britt step cautiously towards something new. And at the courthouse, Alexis Davis chooses silence, for now. But silence in Port Charles never lasts.